Hello, internet travelers, once again, coming at you. It's fucking cold. Yeah, that's right, cursing before even the 10-second mark. You know the algorithm's bullshit when this pops up in your recommends. How's it going, y'all? Good to see ya. Fighting the good fight against the forces of good and evil out here. You know how it goes. I've been at the top and the bottom of a lot of waves lately, if that makes sense. Been up high, down low, but I'm keeping it consistent out here, you know? One of the really important things for your routines is to make them accessible to the lowest version of yourself. That way, when you're down in the dumps, you can look at yourself and go, well, at least I can do X, you know? At least I can close my eyes and do one mindful breath, and that's my meditation. At least I can say one thing I'm grateful for, and that's my gratitude. At least I can do 30 seconds of a plank, and that's my ab exercise for the day. And that's how you stay consistent. Look at that. It's not even a minute in. I'm already giving you the best advice this side of the United States. It's a very cold side of the United States, if you know what I mean. I don't even have a plan for this video. I'm just running off at the mouth, but that's okay. And since you're here to listen, I guess you're here to stay. So listen to what I have to say. You've come along this far. You know I got good advice. I have been really deep into this new thing. Well, it's not really a new thing. It's been around for generations, for years, for all of human history. But very few people in this society are taking a good hard look at it. A lot of people don't really understand the power of your libido. Now, this comes to a shock to a lot of people who only associate the libido with sex. The libido isn't just about sex. When you really think about it, what happens when you get horny, right? What happens? You want to create something, right? And I think we all know what that is. We want to create another life. Now, due to, the trademarked socioeconomic factors, a lot of people want to be in that situation where they want to create life, but they really can't. You know, the almighty dollar's got a grip on them, and they can't be fruitful. They can't multiply the way they want to. So a lot of guys don't realize this, especially 20-something-year-old guys. Your sexual energy can be transmuted, okay? It can be transmuted into so many different things, all right? It can be transmuted into money. It can be transmuted into status, into power, into the inflection of your voice, into the numbers that you put up at the gym. Or it could be just transmuted into sex, you know? You go after some woman, you want a cheap thrill, or you want a life partner. Either way, a lot of the things in your life is probably because you want some pussy. And, you know, you may be denying it. You may be going, what do you mean? I'm not some dog, but just look around you. I think George Carlin said it best. Why are all the bullets and bombs shaped like dicks? And here comes all those smart wise guys in the comment section. Oh, it's because of aerodynamics. You should know. All of you smart wise guys who know about physics and stuff. When we're talking about this, we're talking about pure bedrock, ground level shit about life. Okay? We're talking about the way the world works. Now, I sound a little less educated on the subject because I'm just diving into it. There's this book I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich, and I heard that sexual transmutation is in one of the chapters. So I'm excited to get to that. That's going to help my reading habit. I'm excited to get to that part. Because when you take things like semen retention into consideration and nofap and all that stuff, they're really good. They're good movements, you know? Whether you get in on the ground floor just to have a little more energy, have a little more awareness, a little more presence, when you get that feeling in the middle of the night and you're just tossing and turning because you got a big rock down there and you just can't deal with it. You can't break your streak, as they say. You got to realize that isn't just your seed. That's an ingredient in the creation of life. That's an ingredient in the creation of life. It's necessary to create life. And you can cite all those sources. Oh, women can make babies from their bone marrow or their whatever mixed in with their eggs. Show me the baby. Show me the baby, please. Whoever was born from a woman's bone marrow, please show it to me. I look at the story of creation in the Bible. I think of the way Eve was supposedly created from Adam's rib bone. So, hey, maybe they were onto something. Maybe that's some that's some symbolism right there. Maybe both of us can make babies with our bones. But anyways, that's getting beside the point. Sexual transmutation. Think of how powerful your horniness is. Now I know you want to click off the video. You're thinking, this goofy son of a bitch. Think about it. Think about how powerful the feeling gets when you're horny. If you just set a boundary, I can't squeeze one out. It needs to be with a real girl. I cannot just pleasure myself. I can't just spill my seed all in the name of pleasure. If you put that personal boundary down, you are going to find such untapped levels of energy. It's unbelievable. You're basically using divine rocket fuel. Okay? You're using divine rocket fuel that God gave you in your testicles, mister. Jesus Christ. This is one of my strangest videos yet, but you know what? It's got to get to the people, and that's what's got to happen. You have divine fuel inside of you, and instead of spilling it out, you're supposed to retain it. You're supposed to keep it in for the important moments, okay? Pretty much any major religions in the world, any ones you know of, they talk about this. They talk about semen retention because they know it's important. They know you're not supposed to spill your seed outside of anything other than making a child. Or, if you want your pleasures, you want your pleasures. If you want to connect with someone using that deeply connecting act known as sex, you can do that. It comes with a lot more consequences than you think. I'm one to talk, but if you're just out for cheap thrills, if you're out just to have casual sex, it kind of eats away at your soul. You get yourself to a point where, well, I'm just masturbating with this person's body. There's no emotional connection. There's no love here. And it's sad. It's almost sadder than beating your dick by yourself. It gets to that sad point, because what if that person you're with actually does catch feelings? They say they won't. They say, oh, I can't catch feelings. But what if they do? Well, I just used you, and now I don't intend to be friends with you. A lot of people find themselves in that situation. It's sad. And it really is a waste of your seed, You can retain that. You can show a little self-control, self-discipline, and not spill all your fuel everywhere. You're basically puncturing your fuel tank there. You ever notice how after you beat your meat and you finish yourself off, you're not really yourself? Well, let me put it in a better way. You're not really nearly as present and powerful as you usually are, okay? You kind of just walk around like a zombie with really bad body language and posture, and people can kind of tell, People can tell. Especially women. I hope you knew that women can actually tell apart the men who masturbate and the men who don't. They can tell. And you know they're not nearly as attracted to the wankers out there than to the guys who retain. It's pretty obvious. You know, if you don't believe me, go to a woman's channel and check her out. There's plenty out there. There's actually this really good channel that I forget the name of the channel. I'm trying to remember the name of the actual video. It's something along the lines of "We can tell when you watch porn" or something like that. Yeah, like women can tell when you watch porn, and it's this lady with a nice bob cut in the snow. It's a really cool channel. She's really cool, but everyone around you can tell, and you're the only one really pushing it down. If you're stuck in this vicious dopamine cycle of porn and masturbation, everyone can tell. So if you're the only one keeping it from yourself, then you're essentially blind to something that is making you massively weak and extremely lax about your life, about your discipline. Okay. I've been talking in woo-woos, right? Let me put this in a very scientific perspective for those of you who need that, okay? Those guys retained. Anyways. Let's bring this to psychology, right? To the subconscious. When you're beating your meat, you're thinking about having sex with a woman, right? Our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something imagined and something that's happening in real life, okay? So when you beat your dick and you shoot your little pee-pee juice everywhere, right? You are training your brain to think the main task is done. Like, think of life as an RPG, right? A role-playing game. There's all these side quests, there's all these things, but then there's the main quest. Your body, especially your subconscious, believes that the main quest line of life is having children, spreading your seed. That's what every creature's natural inclination is on this planet. Is just to make more of itself. So what you're doing by beating your meat and not actually getting with a woman is you're tricking your mind. You're tricking your subconscious into thinking, okay, the task is done. I don't need to contribute. I don't need to contribute much anymore. I can just relax. When you're in your 20s, you shouldn't be looking to relax. You should be looking to build. You should be looking to get your kingdom up to snuff. You should be utilizing as much time as you possibly can to get your kingdom in order. Your ancestors would not be proud of you watching you beat your meat like a little monkey in the corner of your room like a sad son of a bitch. See, it's especially sad when you're watching real people doing it, because think of it, right? You are watching, it's such a cucked thing. You're watching most likely a bigger, stronger man getting the woman you want, and you're pleasuring yourself to it. And you've done this how many times? You've done this how many times? Your brain has basically been conditioned to go, oh, other man gets woman I want, that makes me excited. You're conditioning your brain for that. I hope you know that, unless you watch that point of view shit, or you're doing it with your imagination. No way, like, neither way is ideal, obviously. You want to retain as much as you can, but neither way is ideal. So, since you made it to the end of this very strange video, I ask that you put down a really, really hard line boundary for yourself, and that is to not ejaculate. And I know, this is going so far for a YouTube video, right? This is something that's so... Oh, what? Some fucking YouTuber told me to? Just trust me, okay? If you need to look up all the sources, you need to look up retention and sexual transmutation, all that shit, go ahead. But just take my advice. It's helped me. Take my advice. Do not spill your seed unless you are having sex. All right? I'm inclusive with that, right? Even with the gays, even if it's the same, even if you're banging a dude, right? Even if you got to do that, I don't really see too much of a point. Unless you're just looking to stimulate your synapses in that case, I can't really stop you, if you're down that hedonistic hole. It's okay. Down that hole. Anyways, limit yourself to sex. If you can't get the object of your desire, and that's so fucked up to say about people, but if you can't get the object of your desire, you shouldn't be giving yourself the reward anyway. It's like a participation trophy. That's all it is. You didn't win the prize, but you still rewarded yourself regardless. You do that too many times, you are training yourself for just to be a failure. And I think that's all that really needs to be said on the subject. So, yeah. Take my advice to heart. Bye.